Amendment. Now for the top story tonight, it is Martin Luther King's birthday, a federal holiday, but like everything else, it has become political.
And you hear Mitt Romney, all these folks very subtly infusing race. And by the way, the Republicans have scheduled their big debate for Monday, Martin Luther King Day, without any regard whatsoever to the civil rights issues that this state has faced.
Now, that soundbite confused me, so joining us now from Columbia, South Carolina, is Dick Harpootlian, the chairman of that state's Democratic Party. Are you offended, Mr. Harpootlian, by the Republican debate tonight because it's MLK Day?
No, I'm not offended by it. And, Bill, what I was trying to say was that in a state where 1 out of 3 voters are African Americans, there has not been one single, other than Newt Gingrich going to a church, one single ad on African American radio, no mailings to African Americans, no outreach to African Americans. In a state where we have a African American Republican congressman, no effort made whatsoever to reach out to the African American community and attempt to convince them their policies or their positions are better. And adding insult to injury, of course, is the debate on Martin Luther King and sort of an ignoring of Martin Luther King's birthday. And let me point this out.
Let me stop you there. Who's ignoring Martin Luther King's birthday? Who's doing that?
Mitt Romney, Newt Gingrich, Santorum,
Why would they be ignoring?
Perry.
Why would they be ignoring his birthday? Why would they be? How do you know they're ignoring it?
Well, they've made no statement about it. They've made there was a march here in Columbia where many people gathered and to commemorate his birthday.
Do you think it's really fair to say they're ignoring? You don't know if they're ignoring it. I mean, it sounds to me like they're offended that they're having the dog and pony show, which these debates are inevitably, on Martin Luther King Day. Are you offended that they chose that day?
Well, here's my point on that. In 2003, I hosted a debate as chairman. George Stephanopoulos did it, and we're going to do it on a Friday night. Joe Lieberman called and indicated that he couldn't do it because his Sabbath began on Friday night.
Right.
We moved it to Saturday night to accommodate him. No one, I submit, has raised any issue with Fox about it being appropriate or inappropriate. It's just sort of
maybe that's because in 2008, what happened? What happened in 2008 in South Carolina? Mr. Harpootlian, what happened?
We had
what happened?
Democratic primary.
No, you had a Democratic debate in 2008 on MLK Day. Do you know that?
But
did you know that?
No, I knew that. I knew that.
And who sponsored that debate?
One of the networks. I can't remember who sponsored it.
The Congressional Black Caucus.
Black Caucus.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what.
On Martin Luther King Day, debate Democratic.
But what happened on that day? Every Democratic candidate, but they also participated in a number of events leading up to that debate.
So there's a litmus test now that any political candidate has to participate in the events. Look, let's just get this on a table.
Recognize it.
Wouldn't you say to me that if you had to rethink this, Mr. Harpootlian, because you're a no-spin guy, I think, it was foolish to say the Republicans shouldn't debate or whatever you said on Martin Luther King Day in hindsight of what has already happened.
No, what I said was it is indicative of a process in which they have not engaged the African American community in this state.
Well, maybe they feel that that's not their constituency. Obviously, African Americans vote heavily Democratic.
But if you never ask them or never approach them or ignore them, of course they will.
I would have been marching into Martin Luther King Day, Columbia Parade, or Charleston, wherever they had it. I'm agree. You know, I don't see that's a bad thing. But I think you injecting race into this is not a good thing for the country. I don't think that's good.
No, what I'm telling you is the Republicans have injected race by Newt Gingrich and Santorum saying that this will be the most important election since 1860. Now, what happened in 1860? We elected Abraham Lincoln.
That was Lincoln's election, but that's their opinion, that the country is at a crossroads, whether we go into the social justice Western European model or we go back to the traditional capitalistic model. You can make a case for that.
1860, we elected a president who
and they said this is the most important election since 1860.
Or is it the most important? Why 1860? I don't get it.
Because that's Lincoln coming in to try to keep the Union together. That's what happened in 1860. Surely you know
Well,
that.
the Union didn't stay together. Well, we in the South have a little different version.
Well, whatever version you have, that was a pretty damn important election in 1860. And all they're saying is this is the one that's, you know, right after that. Come on, Mr. Harpootlian, you're a smart guy. You're getting killed here on this program tonight. These points are specious.
Well, Bill, whoa. You're the referee and the boxer? You're killing me here?
Of course I am. When you get the Harpootlian factor, you'll be that too. All right, we appreciate you coming on tonight. Thank you very much. Next